What's up guys, Jeff Cavalier, AthleteX.com. We're starting a new series here today on this channel, Soar in 6 minutes. And today we're going to start with the lats. You see, we did a video all about workout soreness and how eccentric tension and loading during the lengthening of a muscle is one of the ways to sort of spark at least the stimulus for muscle growth by causing some micro damage to those fibers themselves. Now, it's not the only way to create muscle growth, but it's one of the ways we know how to do that through that mechanical tension. And with the lats, you either have to choose the right exercises or you have to do them the right way, or as I'm going to show you today, kind of a combination of each, because the right exercises allow you to apply the techniques the right way. But before we do, you kind of have to understand a little bit about Raymond, right? Everybody knows Raymond. You got to know that the anatomy of the lats themselves are going to allow us to do this if you understand that. So the lats are going to attach on the inside here to the spinous processes, all these little bumps here on the back of your vertebrae, okay, all the way down to the lumbar spine. And they're going to come out here all the way to the upper arm on the back of the upper arm. So when you want to stretch a muscle, if you can take those 2 points and bring them further apart from each other, you can stretch that muscle. But we also know that it feeds down here through some fascia into the top of our pelvis. So we also have a control point with the pelvis. If the pelvis is moving away from the back of the arm here, we can also do that. So that being said, let's start applying some of these techniques to this 6-minute little routine. If you don't get sore, I promise you, you will get sore by doing this. So let's go here now to the lat pull down. On the lat pull down, the first thing I do is I position my arms, my elbows a little bit in front of my body. Now that's very similar to a chin up, but the real effect is that the arm being placed here is allowing the stretch point, or the point of stretch on the lats, to be greater, because this point is getting further away from this point than it would be if it was over here. So now, by doing that, you've already placed a greater stretch on the lats, but we have to apply the load. When you come down, do as normal. Retract your shoulder blades, pull them together on the bottom of the pull down. But as you go up, don't just allow your elbows to come forward, but allow the bar to go forward as well. Protract your scapula. Reverse the retraction that you have. Now, if you have an unstable shoulder, or if you have a really bad shoulder at the moment, this may not feel comfortable, and if that's the case, don't do it. But if your shoulder is feeling good, this should feel totally normal, because you're going through the motions here of the shoulder blades, protraction and retraction. But you'll feel a tremendously increased stretch on the lats with just even a couple reps. But we have to apply a tempo here. We got to prolong that eccentric lengthening. So 3 seconds on the eccentric portion of the lift, 1 second on the way down. If you do a 12 rep max load, you're looking at 48 seconds or so. We're going to go for a minute. So even if you have to rest, pause, that's fine. Take that all the way through and then move on to the next exercise. And that is a lat pullover, a dumbbell lat pullover. When we position ourselves here on the bench, what we want to do is look at that point of attachment down at the pelvis. If we can take the pelvis and move it further away from the arm, then we're golden. And we can do that by actually dropping down. And now, once we've established that position, we've got to increase stretch on the lats, but now we have to apply the tension. So let's do a 21 style. Again, don't just do a lat pullover. Let's throw something at your muscles that they haven't necessarily felt before, and also at the same time prolong the time that you're going to spend in that eccentric portion of the lift. So you're going to do a 21 style, the top third. Just hang out in the top third motion here. Pelvis is dropped. Do the 7 reps in the upper third of this exercise. Then immediately, without resting, go down to the bottom portion. This is where you're really going to feel the stretch. You're going to keep those hips dropped as much as you can. If your lats are really tight, you're going to find that your hips are going to want to pop up every time you let the dumbbell go backwards. But try to keep them as far apart as you can and hang out in just the bottom third and do 7 reps. And then from here, again, without resting, now we're going to go to a full rep. And we're actually going to take the lat kind of through this full stretch, full contraction. So allow the pelvis to drop as you stretch back and then come up into neutral as you pull the dumbbells back up towards the top. So now go through again 7 reps here, and now you've got yourself the second minute using a 12 rep max load of this 6-minute routine. Now you might be thinking, but you know what would be a good exercise, Jeff? A dumbbell 1-arm row. Because you can actually do it in a lawnmower style, as I've shown before, where you kind of reach out at the bottom and then pull up, and you get a nice stretch. Not really. If you look at it, when we get down to the bottom here, we are getting a good stretch if we allow the dumbbell to move forward, but we're not really getting the tension. The tension gets shifted to the front delt as I try to lift the dumbbell up from below at that 90-degree point. So it's not necessarily getting the stretch and the load at the same time, it's sort of just getting the stretch. Not a bad exercise, just not the best way to have a loaded eccentric in that exercise, or as the one we're going to try to do. But we can do what I'm going to show you here. And this is actually an exercise we built right into AX1. It's a rotational high row. So what we have here is now we've got the opportunity to get our arm right here further away from not just our pelvis, but also the spinous processes in our spine, because we can rotate that way and keep this over here. So you can see that these 2 points are going to get further away if I take these and move them over there. Okay, and that's what we're doing by rotating. At the same time, we're going to also rotate the pelvis over there while this stays over here. So creating all this length there as I go through this row. So you can see I try to row to the middle. I got that protraction or the retraction of the scapula again, and then I allow it to wrap around my body and protract and increase that stretch. Spending time again on that long duration eccentric to get that nice load and to really make sure that we're hitting it hard. We spend 1 minute on the left arm and 1 minute on the right arm. That's just 4 minutes. That's right, because we're not done yet. What you have to do is go back to a set of the pullovers for 1 more minute, and that's finish up with 1 more 1 minute set on the lat pull down. There's your 6 minutes. As I said in the beginning, this is not meant to make you sore right now, although it may, depending upon your experience. But what it's meant to do is make you sore tomorrow, or more importantly, even 48 hours from now. You see, it's not just the only way to create a stimulus for muscle growth, but soreness manipulated the right way through mechanical tension can. And that's what I want you to do here. And we're going to cover all the other muscle groups. So you let me know what you want to see, and I'll do my best to do that. But in the meantime, if you're looking for a program that puts the science back in strength, head to athleanx.com right now and get our AthleanX training program. All right, guys, I'll be back here again in just a couple days. I'll see you soon.